Do you need to be more logical or more spiritual in order to be a money coach? Well, today we're going to have that discussion on Mindset Matters More. And today we are welcoming Scarlett Stanhope, also known as the Biz Hippie. Scarlett teaches coaches how to conquer their finances and fully own their worth so they can be completely supported by the work they love. After breaking free from a workaholic career path, Scarlett harnessed the power of money to chase her dreams. She now combines practical, tangible money management strategies with powerful mindset and coaching techniques to help her clients completely transform their relationship with money. This allows them to strategically hit their goals and finally live their best lives. Scarlett, welcome to the show.
Oh my gosh, thank you for having me. I am so excited to be here and pumped to have this conversation with you today.
Absolutely. And for those of you who are watching and not just listening, but like I am absolutely obsessed with the elephant behind you. I just want to say that one more
Thank you.
time.
Thank you. I'm living the true biz hippie life over here in my little Zoom screen.
I love it. Okay, let's just dive right in. So I remember in our initial conversations, me and you have very similar clients, but we come at it from two very different approaches, where you're coming at it from people who are highly spiritual but need a little bit of grounding. And I'm coming from it from people who are super in the grounded 3D logical, who need a little bit of help elevating to the more spiritual. And I found that it's two means to the same end, is to bring people with harmony and alignment for one another. So what from your angle and your perspective has been some of the um I don't want to call them issues, but what are some of the things that people come to you with really struggling with? Like, what do you find that coming from the very spiritual to those who need to come to be a little bit more grounded, what do you find is like, prominent in their questions for you?
Yeah, I love this. And I love the way you set it up because it's like we all need both. We need that like balance of the logic and the strategy and also the woo, right? We need the biz and the hippie, the masculine and the feminine. And I'm all about finding that balance in the middle, as I know you are. And the biggest issue, the biggest problem that I see so many people facing, especially when you're a little more on the woo side, but even if you're not, is people's relationship with money. And your relationship with money is how you think about money, how you feel about money, and how you use your money. And most people are focused on one or the other. Either like I'm working really hard on my money mindset, I'm working on focusing on abundance and being positive, and I'm more doing the internal work around money. Or there's people very grounded in the strategy. They're like, I'm being strategic with my money. I'm taking all the right steps. I'm really on top of it. I'm hyper focused on it. I don't spend a lot of it. But again, like with all things, especially manifestation and especially money, we need to have that balance in the middle. It's not just how you use your money, it's also how you think and feel about it. And most people are missing something in these three things, and that creates feelings of scarcity and lack instead of living your truly most abundant life.
And it's interesting because scarcity and lack isn't just about not having it. It's also, like you said, how you think about it. What were the things that you grew up with hearing? Like, money doesn't grow on trees. Who do you think I am? Rockefeller. Like, what are the things that like created that feeling of I don't have rather than
Mhm.
just not having? Because I know a lot of people who have a lot of money that feel like they have nothing.
Oh, yeah, totally. Abundance, in my definition of abundance, is not about an amount of money. It's a way of being. And I truly believe that no matter where you're starting from, how much money you have, like you can feel a sense of abundance starting right now. And it really does come back to our mindset, our stories, our beliefs around money. But not only money, it's also our sense of self-worth, our sense of deservingness, our sense of safety and survival. Like all of that ties into money. And so many of us were taught, a lot of misaligned scarce-based beliefs around money, whether it's money doesn't grow on trees, or maybe having money is evil or bad. And all of these things unfold in different ways and continue to show up in our lives. For example, if you were taught money is the root of all evil, and then you go and have your adult life where you do need money in order to survive, and part of you wants a lot of money and is trying to manifest more money, you better believe you're going to do a great job repelling that money because you don't want to be an evil person. And deep down, you believe you will be. Or maybe you do bring in all that money, but then you throw it out as soon as it comes in because of these old, scarce based money stories.
And it's funny because a lot of these old fear-based ideas, they're running in the background and we don't necessarily ascribe to them still, but because they're playing in the background, because they're in that subconscious space, like we don't even understand the ramification of the things that happened ages ago. Coming forth and like how they're replaying themselves over and over and over again.
Mhm.
So, what are some of the um like mindset shifts that you have seen that have really given the most bang for your buck? I know that is so cliche and punny at the same time, but like really, what are some of the shifts that you have seen that really just hypercharge people's ability to, produce, create money?
Totally. Yeah, totally. Well, there are three scarcity seeds that I talk about with my clients, and every one of us has some version of these scarcity seeds, which are the most common scarce-based beliefs that we were all taught one way or another, whether that was from like family members or just the society that we live in. They're very prevalent. And those are not enoughness, the sense that there's not enough to go around. And so therefore, there's only so many pieces of the pie. What if I don't get some? This really can lead to competition, jealousy, right? If there's only so much to go around, we got to compete for it. The second scarcity seed is worthiness. If there's only so much to go around, who's to say that I'm worthy and deserving? Or if I take too big of a slice of pie, then am I taking it away from someone else? And who gets to decide? And is it wrong or bad that I get my fair share? That's like goes from is there enough to am I enough? And then the third scarcity seed is what I like to call starving artist syndrome, which is a belief of either or. Either I can do what I love or make money, but I can't have both. And these three beliefs they overlap, they're mixed together, and they are so common in our society. And most people's money stories and their beliefs about themselves, the world, money, it all is really rooted on these primary beliefs. And the biggest thing that you can do to start to unwind this is honestly notice them. Notice that this is present. Notice that this is present in the world that we live in. Notice where it's present in your own life. Notice where you find yourself affirming this, saying these things, thinking these things. Often, going back to what you were just saying, we don't even notice that this is present because it's so deeply rooted and we've been swimming in it our whole entire lives. It's like if you're a fish swimming in water, you don't see the water. It becomes as clear as air. So we are all just swimming in a scarce based society, and simply noticing this and starting to question these foundational scarcity seeds that will already begin to unwind a scarcity mindset.
Oh, absolutely. And you bring up a good point that like, these seeds, as you so lovingly call them, that they can come from like different places, but we're also looking for them. We're also affirming them with our own experiences and just keep reinforcing it with the things that like we have done with our own money, like, a bad investment or, overspending. It's like, see, like money isn't supposed to be had, or having these thoughts internally about worth, whether it's deservingness, is there enough for me?
Mhm.
Do you find that tapping into the self-worth, do you believe that, or I mean, not that you believe, but do you see that when people really start to look at their self-worth, that something unlocks in them? Because what I have noticed is that even coming from the logical side, from the logical brain, and tapping into something more spiritual, that there is this massive block of no, like the spiritual out there will not take care of me. And that fear of like the greater being, the universe, will not take care of me because I haven't proven myself.
Yeah, I think that self-worth is huge. And this sense of unworthiness, like that specific scarcity seed, that will be the biggest block that can prevent us from truly living our most abundant lives. And I believe a huge part of cultivating abundance comes down to developing self-trust, self-love, self-confidence. And most people don't have a deep sense of self-trust, and that causes us to not be fully in control of our lives. And it causes us to surrender power, surrender control, and just go with the flow of life, but not in an aligned way, in more of a, I'm just going to keep carrying out these old patterns. I'm just going to stay stuck in situations I don't want to be in. I'm going to be the victim of my circumstances, and this is just the way it is because I don't fully have control. I don't fully have power. I'm surrendering my power and control because I also don't trust myself. And I believe, especially when it comes to trusting the universe and being able to step into deeper universal faith, you have to have self trust as a foundation because if something were to happen, if you were to take a big risk on yourself, if you were going to change your life to step more into what you desire and what you love, it's really scary. It's really intimidating. You need to know at the end of the day that no matter what happens, you're always going to be there for you. You're never going to give up, and that you'll always climb your way out of any pit you've put yourself in. And especially if you've done that before, if you've climbed your way out of a dark hole and you've started to live an intentional and conscious life, all of that is cultivating self trust, and self trust is the foundation for living an abundant life.
Oh, I love self-trust. Self-trust to me is one of those very important key skills because it's a skill to
Hmm.
have. And finding the evidence, and like whenever I give a talk, especially about, fears, doubts, and insecurities, I love telling people find the evidence to prove you wrong. That program of I can't do it, it's not for me. Find the evidence where that has not been the case. Find the evidence in your life where you have stood up for yourself, where you have been number one, where you knew that you were just going to get it done and you did whatever it took. And know that you can always tap back into that version of yourself to come through, right? And
Yeah.
having that trust. I love that topic.
Totally. And I love the way that you just described this as well, too, is like finding the evidence to prove yourself wrong. It's because our brains, when we go back to scarcity mindset, like what a scarcity mindset actually is our brain being programmed to protect us, to keep us small, to keep us safe, to keep us in our comfort zone, and to hold us back. That's not necessarily a bad thing. It's here for a reason. It's here to serve a purpose, and that is self-preservation, which is how we are evolutionarily programmed to survive as a human race. But the problem is when we want to live bigger, bolder, different lives, that's where the scarcity or the sense of safety protects us and keeps us in our comfort zone. This is why it's so easy for us to find all of the problems, all the reasons why we're not good enough, all the reasons why it's not going to work. It's all versions and ways of protecting us from failing, protecting us from being disappointed, right? And so it's common, it's comfortable, we're used to it. And so it can be very uncomfortable to train our brain to see evidence that we didn't see before, to learn things we didn't learn before, to become a new version and start living a different life. Because what that means is we're continuously stepping out of our comfort zone, and that can be really intimidating for our sense of survival.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. And I love that you use the word train because, like I said, it's a skill, right? It is something that repeatedly you have to continuously do.
Mhm.
I know that a lot of people feel like, oh, if I'm going to change, I need to change now and be perfect at it. And if not, it's not worth it. And coming from this part of now coaching somebody, I understand because like through my own experience, it was not like an overnight, like, oh, all of a sudden I'm great with, attracting clients. All of a sudden I'm great at podcasting. Oh, I mean, not that I'm great at podcasting, but, all of these things that it's like, you learn as you do and you keep trying, you keep like figuring it out. Okay, well, this didn't work. Well, okay, next time I'm going to try this. And then you keep going. And it's like the iterations of how your brain develops, but you keep pushing forward regardless. Like you either, win or you learn, right?
Yeah, exactly. I love that. I see that often as well too, is anytime we fail, let's say, or like crash back or have a low moment, like low emotions, often we want to use it as evidence against ourselves. Again, we collect more evidence and say, like, oh, here's why it didn't work. Here's why something's wrong. But I am a strong believer that the only way you can actually fail is by giving up. And in fact, the highs and lows are all part of the path of progress and moving forward. And that, those low points, those mistakes, those failures, those hard times, that's part of the evolution. That's part of the growth. That's where we get the lessons. That's where we do the deeper work of overcoming and like who do we become in those moments when life is hard and challenging. If life was rainbows and butterflies all the time, we wouldn't evolve as humans. We evolve through struggle and challenge. And so I love to really help my clients change their perspective on what success looks like. If there's mistakes or failures or low vibes, that's not evidence against the success and progress. In fact, it's evidence for the progress. And the lower the lows that you are able to move through, the harder the challenges that you're able to face, the higher the highs on the other side.
Oh, I love that. I absolutely love that. So let's switch it to find out more about your journey a little bit. I'm curious as to where was the transformation for you when you thought, this hustle culture is just not for me, and I just want to go into living into alignment. Like, what did that look like for you? And what does alignment feel like to you?
Yeah, totally. So for me, I was really, really great at being a high achiever, perfectionist, successful person, even as a kid. Like I was the straight A student. I was also an 8-year-old with weekly migraine headaches. But then flash forward to my young adulthood, I was checking all the success boxes. I was crushing it. I was managing restaurants by the time I was 18. I went to getting my degree in business management, accounting, and finance, was maintaining my like 3.9 GPA, was saving lots of money, making more money than my friends, basically a workaholic. So on paper, I was doing a really great job. I was checking every box that says like, yes, this is what it's like to be a successful, responsible adult. But inside was a completely different story. Not only was I not fulfilled, I was a zombie living my own life. I literally felt empty and dead inside. I was depressed. I was in a toxic relationship, toxic work environment, and I was covered in head to toe eczema because it was so uncomfortable to just be living my life and be in my skin. But even though, like, there were so many things that should have been obvious to me that things were not okay. You know, when you're driving home at 3 a.m. with the radio blasting, screaming, tears going down your face, like you'd think I would have been like, something's wrong here, but I just didn't realize. I just thought this was life, this was normal, and I was young. So I was like, I guess this is just what adulthood is until I hit some pretty harsh rock bottoms. And that's what really woke me up. I had to be faced with some very scary, terrifying, near death-esque experiences to really realize, oh, okay, like I am actually the one in control here. I don't have to be a victim to these circumstances. I don't have to keep living this way, and I can do something different. And life is short, and I don't want to live life like this anymore. And that's when I took a complete 180. I started my own personal growth journey and discovering who am I? What's important to me? What do I want if money and success wasn't the thing that I was constantly chasing? Because I also discovered that I was basically running a race that I would never win. The finish line always moved, and it didn't matter how much I did, how much I accomplished, how many boxes I checked. Like, I would never arrive at this feeling of enoughness. So, to go back to your question of what does alignment look like to me, is it's how can you live a life that you love based on your own desires, your own passions, your own standards, what is truly most important to you. If money, success, and these societal expectations were not a question, and how can you actively be the one in control of your life and start to live that life and prioritize those things starting right now, today, from exactly where you are with the money that you have.
Oh my God. Like our stories mirror each other from screaming and crying in the car on the way to work to, the workaholic. Like, can't you see my resume? Like, why is this not working?
Yes.
And what I also hear is the programming behind it. What I
Hmm.
hear is this is what it's supposed to be, right? This is what success it looks like. This is what adulthood looks like. Where did that come from? Where did that like stem from? What seeds were planted in me to believe that this was what was going to lead to fulfillment? And it's
Hmm.
just crazy how you know, even our parents, they have the best of intentions. Society, it's just society. It's like, this is what, we need to be a productive society. But like the things that we adopt, because even after I came to the realization that, like, hey, this was like not what I want, I had oh, poor little rich girl. Oh, poor successful girl. You have the career, you have the home. Like, how dare you not be grateful? And then I got to beat myself up from that side of it too, right?
Totally. Yes. And that's why it can be so hard to break free from these things, not only when we have the expectations of what life should look like, what should make us happy, but then as we start to break free from them, it's so easy, these layers of scarcity and not enoughness. But then on top of that, too, not only the mindset, but also our like tangible relationship with money plays another key role in this too, that I want to highlight because most people, their money is controlling them and the money is controlling their lives. And that's the thing where even when we feel unfulfilled and we're like, you know what, I do want to leave this job, money will be the thing that keeps us there or keeps us stuck or holds us back from saying yes to what we truly desire, truly living the life that we want to live, and instead staying stuck in a life that is misaligned with us. So, yes, we have to work on our mindset because that's how we break free from these scarcity patternings that keep us stuck. But then we also have to harness the power of our money in order
Yes.
to actually implement it and actually manifest the life that we desire.
Right. So when you're working with your clients, what are some of like the practical tools? Like what's just like an easy way to sort of transition someone who's very spiritual into, okay, let's look at this money part now. Because I know that can be a very
Yes.
scary topic for people to even think about looking at their money, right?
Totally, yeah. It can be really intimidating, but the way that I like to frame it and think about it is I believe that your money is a tool for manifestation. In fact, it's 1/3 of your manifestation powers. Every single day, we manifest this life that we're living right now with how we spend our time, our energy, and our money. But most of us are spending our money unintentionally and unconsciously. And therefore, when you look around at this life you're living right now, you are the one manifesting it, and you're manifesting it with how you choose to spend your money. So, when you look at it through the lens of when I learn to see my money clearly and become conscious and intentional with how I use my money, how I spend my money, then I can shift what I'm manifesting. And I can use my money as a tool to manifest the life that I actually want to live. And the very first step to doing that is the same with the mindset piece, is we need to bring awareness to what is currently going on first. Most of us are unaware of how much money we have and where it's going, and then we're confused when we don't have enough of it, and we're confused why we're living this life. But when you get it on paper and you see how much money came in, how much money went out, and where did it go? What did I choose? That becomes the roadmap of, yeah, here's how I manifested this life that I'm living. I can look at it right here on paper. And the more that you're willing to face that and see that clearly, then you can shift things. Then you can change things. And then you can literally manifest a different life using the power of your money.
Yeah. And I am a fan of looking at your finances because it is a very concrete way to see where energy is going. It
Hmm.
is a very concrete way to say, oh, okay, like I spent $2,000 on food. Like, is that something that like I should be spending $2,000 a month on? Like, what is that a value of mine? And aligning that energetic of money and the streams of like where is it going into, okay, what are my actual values? What's actually happening here in terms of the energy and where it's going? Like that doesn't even like compute to me. And yet we are never that like connected to the money. We're never that connected to the energy of it. And
Hmm.
it's interesting because you're coming at it from the energetic perspective and making it tangible. But for me, it's like the tangible part. Again, it's like that tangible part. Like we're looking at it now. Where's the energy going? And like
Exactly.
coming at it from the other way, right?
Yes, and I love the way that you described that because that's exactly what it is. And here's the other thing is if you're afraid to face it, one is you're already living your life this way. You've already survived it. So looking at the numbers actually doesn't change anything at all. And some people are just afraid that like, oh, I'm gonna have to face reality or I'm gonna have to change things. But you're already in like the worst case scenario of it because you've already been living this way and surviving this way and not having control and power over it. So it can only go up from here. And also, I think that there's not a right answer. So for some people, like spending $2,000 a month on food might be totally in alignment with their values. It might be the most important thing for them. And, when I work with my clients, I'm not someone who's like, I'm going to tell you exactly what you need to do and you need to follow this. And if you don't, there's something wrong with you and you're doing it
Right,
wrong.
right.
I'm more about like, I want to teach you how to be the one in control of your money and in control of your life. And when you can see your money clearly, it's basically like having a vision board, but with your numbers, where you can say, when I look at my vision board of finances and I see like the kind of life I really want to be living and what is most important to me, then I can make those decisions and say, yeah, is $2,000 worth of food, is $400 worth of coffee my highest values and my best life? And for some people, it might be. And for other people, it might be, yeah, you know what? I'd rather invest money into growing my business and my passions and my service. And I'm willing to sacrifice in other areas in order to get to pursue my vision and what is truly most in alignment for me.
Yeah. And even then, it sometimes doesn't even need to be a sacrifice, right? Because once you become conscious of it, when you're at the checkout line, you can think, wait a minute, like what this is a choice point. This is a moment in time where I get to choose whether I'm going to spend the money on this food or am I going to, redirect it into, like you said, my passion or something that does align better with where I'm at right now. And that's not to
Yeah.
say that it's always going to be the same. And so developing that relationship with that energetic flow of money is also super important because it's a relationship that always needs to be cultivated, not just like the one time that you look at it. It's like,
Mm,
okay, always constantly looking at, okay, how do I talk about money? How do I spend money? How do I save money? And what do all of those different areas mean? Like money is just so multifaceted. Like I'm absolutely fascinated with it.
totally, totally. And I love the way that you describe that. And I think that the difference between sacrificing and choice, like that's also a mindset, is often we focus on the things we're giving up, the things we're sacrificing, but instead you're choosing with your money every single day. And what are you choosing? What are you prioritizing? And what are you creating as a result? And another just example of how simple this can be is it's the same with our time, right? If you want to be a professional ballroom dancer, you have to spend time practicing to become a professional ballroom dancer. And maybe that means, and that's totally just an arbitrary example, but maybe that means you watch less Netflix. Maybe that means you spend a little less time with friends because you care about being a professional ballroom dancer. You want to put time into it, you want to put energy into it, and that gets to be a choice. And yes, every single time you choose something, you're also not choosing or, quote, sacrificing infinite other things. So you're already sacrificing all the time by choosing to live this life you're living right now. And it's the same exact thing with our money.
Oh, yes, absolutely. And it goes back to the beginning of our conversation where it's we're training. We're training our brain, we're training our energy, we're training the way that we look at it, the way we respond to it. It's not just like all of a sudden everything in my life is going to be fixed because I made this one tiny shift. It becomes this snowball effect of how when we start to respond to money, money responds to us.
Absolutely. Right, right. When you take care of your money takes care of you. And that is a relationship and a practice that gets to be built over time. And, at first it can be uncomfortable. If you've never done it before, it's a new skill. It takes new effort, just like learning anything else new. But then once you get comfortable with that, money becomes a tool for manifestation. Managing it, being in control of it, that gets to be fun because it's how you actively create your life every single day. And to me, that is like the greatest gift.
Do you know Ken Honda? I love Ken Honda. He's a money manifesting guru. I don't know what the word would be for him, but he talks about money wounds and how, even saying thank you to money can be really challenging for people and showing gratitude around finances and, all the money that we've had, all the money we will have, and like different aspects of it. But how do you feel when people come to you with this aversion to money, but still saying, hey, I want to make money, but they just have that like ick?
Yeah, absolutely. I think this is key. And the truth is we have to go into it. We have to uncover these things and notice them and start to heal them because we can spend a lot of time working hard, doing more, and trying to make more money. And we think that that's going to solve the problem. It's like, oh, if I just do more, if I just work more, if I just make more money, then I won't feel this way. Then I'll have more. Then my life will be different. But there's like your relationship with money is the same no matter how much money you have. Money is just an expander. So if you take your current relationship with money and you pour more money into that, you're going to get the same relationship with money, if anything, just more of it. And so taking the time to tune in to what is my current money story? What are my money wounds? What are my beliefs around money? And we have to heal those first because no amount of money is going to change that. And for me, I work with my clients. I have a very specific story work certification modality that I use that goes into those moments in time where we learned things about ourselves, the world, and money, and that taught us certain things. And that story continues to play out over and over again in our life. Like one quick example is I had a client who in high school couldn't afford the name brand jeans. And, that's just one small thing, like one small moment in time, no big deal. She hadn't even thought about it in years. But when we were working together, we uncovered the significance of that moment and what she learned and what that meant. I'm not good enough. I'm never going to be money. I'm just not that person. And therefore, people don't like me and I'll never be popular. And et cetera, right? But instead of just bypassing those significant small moments in our lives and just focusing on more and more, we have to learn to see those moments objectively. We have to find emotional regulation around them. We have to find a sense of safety. We have to see them objectively and we have to change the meaning that we created and the beliefs that were instilled in those specific moments in time so that we can write a new money story.
Oh, what a beautiful, powerful message because the small moments matter. The moments can shift us incredibly and we don't even recognize it. So bringing that to the forefront and just really taking care of ourselves can have impact in so many areas of our life. So thank you for that. Scarlett, I am so grateful that you've been on this show and this conversation has been amazing. Please, please, please let everybody know how they can find you. What are you working on? What projects do you have going on? Because I know everybody's going to want to contact you after this.
Yes, absolutely. So, one thing is if you're listening to all of this and you're like, oh my gosh, I'm curious to go deeper on my relationship with money, or I want to take this to the next level, I have like the one best, simplest step that you can take right now, and that is to discover your money mindset type. And I have a fun, simple, free quiz on my website that will help you discover your unique money mindset type and will also tell you how to work with your money mindset so that you can come more into alignment with abundance because people have different starting points and therefore there's different practices that will move you closer to abundance faster. And most people are trying different abundance techniques or manifestation techniques, but they're just not from where you're starting from. So when you discover your money mindset type, that's when you can start working with your money mindset and start working with your money instead of working against yourself. So you can take the free quiz on my website, thebizhippie.com/quiz, and that will step you into my world where you can just learn more about me, who I am, and what I do.
Oh, I love it. I love it. Everybody go take that quiz, okay? Just find out a little bit more about yourself. So I am so grateful that we spent this time together. This conversation has been so powerful and revealing so much. And I could sit here and talk about money all day long, but I want to be mindful of your time. I want to be mindful of the listeners' time. And again, thank you so much for sharing time, space, and energy here. This has been amazing.
Oh, thank you so much for having me on the show. It was so valuable to be in this conversation with you, and I hope everyone listening found something valuable in it as well.
Absolutely. Absolutely. All right, guys. Love you guys so much. Have a wonderful day. Love you. Bye.